Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our
Today we're
channel.
watching Steins Gate 0, Season 1, Episode 15. Maho is on her way back to Japan. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be like a one-for-one remake of everything Kurisu helped build in Steins Gate, or if it's going to be slightly different. I mean, we've already had that like preamble narratively of there being a difference of like, you know, Mozart, Salieri.
Yeah, I think that that's what I'm expecting, is that Maho's able to achieve somewhat of the same end goal, but through different means, whether that's the invention looks different or how a message is actually sent or received is different.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a difference. I really am.
And will we go forward with keeping Okabe at, you know, arm's length in terms of information? In my opinion, it's kind of hard to keep what happened with Kaguri private from last episode. And if you communicate that, it's not a far leap to get to where we're conversing with Maho, like Daru and Suzuha.
So last episode, we got a few examples that Suzuha and Daru are kind of trying to keep Okabe out of the loop, and they're trying to continue to work on progressing the time machine and just behind his back a little bit, but obviously because he has expressed that he didn't want to be helping with this. And so they've been contacting Maho separately.
He just didn't want this to happen in general. Just don't touch it, you know?
And we have that idea that we're aware that he will be going to study abroad in somewhat of the future, distant future, probably in actuality.
Yeah.
But here we have two reasons why he can't be kept at arm's length anymore. Maho's coming back to Japan, as we're assuming. She's getting on a plane. And what happened to Kaguri and Suzuha? Like, how could he not be involved and figure out what's happening or be a part of the conversation when those two things are happening now simultaneously?
Yeah. I don't know. Ready?
Yep.
Sweet. We got the slightly different intro and outro last episode, too. Okay. That looks amazing. Aww. That's dangerous to have.
That is dangerous to have. We're seeing it. Does that mean she's gonna see it in this episode accidentally?
Why did she look like that in the picture? The pacing's really weird this episode so far. Does she worry that, like, having Daru work extra on the time machine is, like, pulling them two apart?
Is she focusing on the safety of the world future instead of her own existence and future too much? Because what if she ends up not existing because of how focused Daru is on this mission that they have together?
Why did she look so, like, I don't know, unsettled in the picture?
Part of it, like, me is thinking maybe that's just that, like, young girl relationship with her mom that she didn't realize. Like, they're, like, maybe she was, like, a preteen in it, and they were kind of fighting at the time. She was, like, daddy's girl, maybe.
But the nature of Steins Gate makes me wonder if there's something more to it. So, Suzuha waking up to the memory of Kaguri having importance of an object in relation to her mom. Immediately followed by Suzuha's plentiful interactions with two other people regarding her mom.
Yeah. Short.
Oh my god. She looks like she's gotten shorter.
That's how I feel when I have like a 28-inch suitcase. Yeah, you're about to get grilled. Don't lose the romance.
ち見たんだ。母さんが知らない男の人と話してるとこ。
騎士のお見舞いの時？
それ以降はなんでもっと会っておかないの。
だってタイムリープマシンの件とかで。
時間は自分で作るものだろ。
Is he nervous?
You could find it if you wanted. I mean, that is true.
その男の人ってのも道を聞かれててとかお店の勧誘とか。
But you can't have a lackadaisical attitude about this.
これって未来の天音師？おう、ロリスズハもラブリー。
Oh my god.
そうじゃなくてよく見て。
え、スズハなんか薄くね？
この前からこんな風なんだ。
She's more transparent?
そう自分に自信がないから自分からアプローチしようとせず向こうから来てくれるのを待ってるんだ。違う？
The song.
自ら行動しない者に未来は訪れない。
Yes.
でもさ、
とにかく
Turn his words back on him.
父さんと母さんがうまくいってくれないと困るんだ。どうしたの？
And Daru is still
お
sweating.
姉さん、力を貸してほしい。
Oh my gosh.
私そういうの疎いから。だからみんなに協力して
I
ほしい
like
んだ。
that even Moika's invited.
兄さん、
I wonder if Ferris helped edit the photo to make it look more opaque or if it's real.
橋田至による天音ゆきへの告白を最終目的とする。
告白。
おお、関心だね。
鈴葉さん。
Was she also invited to the Daru confidence meeting?
謙遜は必ずしも美徳じゃないよ。
Hmm.
特にアメリカでやっていくならね。だけによっては留学も即現実になるかもしれないよ。そうなったら魔法も嬉しいだろう。
Interesting that they're bringing up modesty within Okabe. Parallels Daru's confidence issue.
今みんなでラボに集まってるんだけど、ごめんね。頑張ってね、オカリン。
I also wonder if it's hard for Okabe to be confident without slipping back into the, you know, role.
美味しいお店を知ってることだにゃ。さんはコスプレイヤーさんだよね。だからいつもとは違う服装だったりするとちょっとドキッとしちゃうかもだね。
I like this idea.
マユリ様。
Yes.
どう？兄さん。
Moika's great at keeping the conversation just flowing and exciting.
なんなのよこれ。千田さんがこの状態なのは私も困るし。詳しく話を聞かせてちょうだい。実は要するに女性に対して自信がつけばいいのよね。
So we're having him deal with a lot of
以前
women.
実験的に作ってみたシステムの改良版とでも言っておくわ。
Oh my
まあ要す
god.
るに睡眠学習装置のようなものよ。
More like brainwashing.
橋田至。あなたは本当はできる男よ。あなたはどう
This is like brainwashing.
Not even Don Juan could compare.
僕はいい男。
さあ、目覚めなさい。
Oh
Do we want to do
god.
this?
No.
I don't think she would want him to change. I'm just saying.
ユキさん。
Oh no. Oh yes.
No! No!
いつもの。
She's a cute girl. I bet she cosplays. I bet she's used to like these suave guys.
Because I'm a successful man.
どうかな。うまくいってるかな。
None of these girls have a relationship, and that's why this is
This is going to push her so far into the
I
opposite
know.
direction.
That picture really is gonna be faded.
君の方が綺麗さ。
Oh,
She's like so unsettled.
I think she liked being the one chasing.
Yeah.
あとは最後の一撃を決めるだけだ。
Oh no.
She's gonna like kick him in the groin or something.
橋田さん。
I don't like his expression.
ユキさん。僕は。
You might not be able to go back from whatever is about to happen in terms of their possible
失
connection.
敗した僕と。
いけない。もうこんな時間。
え、
私帰らなきゃ。
I see that as her not wanting it to be over, you know?
僕みたいな男に誘われても内心。
That's not it. You weren't being a guy like you.
手なんか握っちゃったりして、僕ってこの体型だから手汗とかいっぱいかきまくりのベタベタだし、彼女だってきっと
He's
心の
been
中で
pushed even
君
further
う
into
ぜえ
the
話せ変態って思ってたに違
his
いないんだ
confidence.
でさ、あんな可愛いおにゃの子が僕みたいな男のお嫁さんになってくれるなんて。最初にそう言ったのは鈴葉じゃん。
You're the one who said it was happening.
ごめん、ちょっと一人にしておくれ。
You need to go meet with her.
すずさん、ごめんね。元はといえばフェイリス
She did edit it. God damn it.
私もやりすぎたわ。
This is the only time I haven't absolutely adored Suzuha.
The meddling has gone too far.
母さん、母さん、すず、危ない。
What the fuck? They just nonchalantly drop that in. Jesus.
Does Daru know that she dies in the future?
I don't think so.
I know, I think she told Akabe at some point.
ほとんどなかったんだ。
だから謝るのは僕の方だ。
父さん。
あ、あまねし。今日はそのごめん。うん、それでさ。明日もう一回だけ会ってくんないかな。うん、それじゃ。
父さんにはかなわないな。
あまねし。
Better clothing option.
Look how happy! Cute!
Looks like Cardcaptor Sakura a little bit.
She's gonna finish the move! Yes!
Oh!
Oh! Yes. This is good.
今日は楽しかったです。ありがとうございました。
I hope she
you.
gets down on a
し
knee.
かも連続で付き合ってもらっちゃって。あまねし。
やっぱりいつもの橋田さんの方が素敵だと思います。
Is he gonna confess?
その。
父さん。
僕は君に一生萌え萌えキュンだお
It was his language.
I bet her heart fluttered.
父さん。
Open your eyes, Suzuha. Oh! Come on, like she fell in love with him when you weren't even there. Like oh, my eyes are still kind of crying over seeing her die though.
いくつか内容について質問させてもらっていいかな。
はい、もちろん構いません。
妹思いのいいお兄さんですね。うん、私の最高の家族だよ。
I just have this like feeling in my heart that Yuki knows.
Mm-hmm.
その
Some sort of acceptance sense in the same way of like Mayuri accepting Kaguri.
私もイタルさんに萌え萌えキュンなんですよ。 すずはあなたが生まれてくれてよかった。ありがとう。
Jesus, stop showing me it.
She was like smiling because she knew she'd like fucking saved her daughter.
あれおかしいな。私なんで
She never like let herself.
何も言わなくて。
Doesn't it feel like there's something more there?
The confidence.
That hit me.
いいのいいの。僕たちはこれからいくらでも取れるからさ。
Oh, now they're gonna have a picture together. This is so perfect. And she's gonna smile in this one.
本当にいいの？さすがにこれ以上二人の邪魔をしたら私が馬に蹴られちゃうよ。
じゃあ行こうか。
You'll be their third wheel in the future.
母さん。
Moving forward determined.
I don't like this. I didn't like that. Yeah, exactly. I was right to not like that. You're getting a relationship with your mom, Suzuha. That is bad.
Okay, that was Steins Gate 0, Season 1, Episode 15. That was a bit of a bizarre episode.
Yeah.
The pacing was a little, like, wild as well, but I very much enjoyed it, and I cried at the end.
My eyes still feel, like, wet in the corners, and, but then I also feel a mix of emotions right now. I think the episode definitely had me feel a mix of emotions.
Yeah.
Because how could we not feel positive emotions with, like, that Daru and Amane interaction at the end with the confession, and that clearly they both really like each other for who the person really is.
Yeah.
So heartwarming. Suzuha getting a smiling picture with her mom. Also so heartwarming. That hug there and letting her cry. Heartwarming.
Mm-hmm.
But then a lot of other not so heartwarming stuff. Some worrisome stuff in the other side stories that are happening.
Yeah.
If we're on Suzuha's story still, Kaguri there at the end. Very bad news there.
I am terrified that Kaguri would ever try to do anything to Yuki, or, like, I don't know, or...
I think that that's a good place to go, unfortunately. I wrote it down quickly right when the episode ended. Like, the Suzuha relationship and time with family. Like, that is what Kaguri brought up to Suzuha when they had their, like, fight. Their first fight. Like, not when Kaguri, like, sliced Suzuha's stomach.
Yeah.
Their first, like, more innocent fight that we witnessed. It was that idea that Suzuha is getting to have all of this time with her parents and enjoying them, and Kaguri isn't getting that with Mayuri. And Suzuha was like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not spending this time, like, being with them, which we knew as the case, except she really was getting to have time with Daru, like, a lot of good time with Daru. Suzuha and Daru's relationship is, like...
But it was one out of necessity previously.
It was one out of, like, circumstance and necessity for sure, but it's definitely still counts as, like, really great quality time. But now what's happening...
It only reaffirms what Kaguri was saying.
Exactly what is majorly upsetting, a button to push, like, the button on Kaguri, which is, like, getting to see, especially now that Kaguri's taking this role where she cannot be just innocently enjoying her time with Mayuri. Like, she can't even have that because what we see her in is this garb of this assassin.
Yeah. The brainwash switch has been turned on.
She now more than ever can't have that, which would up the jealousy factor and up the upset at Suzuha.
But it's so bizarre because it's like, within the brainwashed state that she's in, she still, like, cherishes and has such a, like, not even just an affection, like an obsession almost with this Upa that her mother gave her. When it's like, Mayuri's right there. Before you were brainwashed again, you had that with her. Like, upon seeing Mayuri, hypothetically, in the future, while being brainwashed, what does Kaguri do? Does she wince? Does she immediately break out of the brainwashing? Or has she been brainwashed to see this Mayuri as a completely different version of herself, that it's not her mom?
I think that's a good direction to go down, is we don't know exactly what the brainwashing entails, because we do know that in Kaguri's brainwashing, because during that same initial innocent fight with Suzuha, another thing that's brought up is that Kaguri has this fake memory that Suzuha, like, didn't look for her, or like that Suzuha left her. And so more so that would up the anger, jealousy of like Suzuha not only is having the happiness and the time with family, but like discarded Kaguri. And that like everyone's discarding her, everyone's keeping her from her mom, everyone's keeping her from Mayuri. We don't know what else was affected in terms of what other fake memories were implanted. I think it's a great direction to go. Like, are there any fake memories or ideas that have anything to do with Mayuri?
Okay, so a couple different directions. One, just to end the conversation on the fear from Yuki, like last episode during Suzuha's interaction with Kaguri and Daru showing up, Suzuha was like, if you ever do anything to my dad, you know, and that
you never said anything about your mom.
Exactly. But then I'm gonna open up the discussion for fear of Mayuri in like that conversation of brainwashing with Kaguri, because what just ended the episode, Mayuri asking to meet up and discuss things with Okabe and their relationship growing farther and farther apart, it makes me worried. Like, I wonder if Okabe almost has a potentially false sense of security on Mayuri's life because this is the world line that he's living in, one that Kurisu died in, so that Mayuri must be okay. You know, nothing bad will happen to her. And what if something does?
I mean, we're getting these two kind of families that are happening, and right now Suzuha's existence is secure, and Daru and Yuki's relationship is secure, but there's a lot going on over here with, I would say, like, Okabe is, like, I guess the father figure in this Mayuri Kaguri relationship. And is anyone, you're right, no one is actually safe. Like, yeah, they might be alive in the future Suzuha came from, but that doesn't mean that things can't change now, and that is concerning. I like the direction possibility. I just want to bring it back up because you put it out there quickly in terms of if you ever do anything to my like father. I think that is an interesting direction to go into, because it is not one, like, narratively, because it is not what any of the characters in universe would expect actually happening. No one would expect Daru to be hurt or Daru to be gone, which I think could be a very interesting direction narratively. Because we know the characters in world wouldn't expect it, because it doesn't fit. Because you'd think they'd go, okay, Mayuri, mother, Yuki, mother, mother relationships.
If something happened to Daru, I think that would definitely be a turning point for Okabe. Like, which is bittersweet, but it would kind of line up. Like, a Daru feeling less inclined to push Okabe to do this kind of thing after last episode, that reaffirming of how Professor Leskinen was talking to him. It's like, oh, Okabe has this future here, right?
Who has been trying to protect his future all along? Daru.
Yeah.
Daru has been like, okay, I want to be doing this and having it ready for whenever he decides he wants to rejoin. But if not, I want him to feel like he can go have the future he wants and study abroad in America. Like, Daru has been completely trying to protect Okabe's happiness, not pressure him too much, but have things ready and waiting for him if he ever did decide to come back and join the fold. And it's exactly what none of the characters would expect. Okabe's like, I sacrificed Kurisu in this world that Mayuri exists in. And yeah, Yuki dies in the future, but like hopefully we can change that. But also like Okabe hasn't really gotten to know her at all, really. We haven't really had him have a bunch of quality time with her where he suddenly sees her life as something that he wants to save.
Yeah.
Uh
So the story's going in like Okabe and then the rest of the cast, like they're diverging a bit, right?
right. I think that's obvious for some other reasons that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, is it inevitable that within that diverging, Okabe discovers something or realizes something unnerving with what Professor Leskinen is doing within the hospital? And I keep saying doctor because it's connected to the hospital now, but Professor Leskinen, like what he's doing with the hospital and like patients, is there something that's going to happen in that plot point that will push him back into, the other gang?
I like to think so. So right now we have something really in this episode visually. We start and why I said that there's like a lot to say in terms of bringing up that Okabe is like currently kind of we had him starting this Steins Gate Zero off separate from the group and the fold, and then starting to get more and more kind of involved to the point where we could see that an episode later and he could change his mind and join Suzuha. But now we're seeing it separate again. And visually in this episode, we had a lot of parallels to the start of Steins Gate Zero, where we're having that circle table with Professor Leskinen and Maho. We're having Okabe not joining the friends when they call him to hang out. And the difference is that he's the one now very involved, and Maho is switching places.
Yeah.
Like, at first, Maho was the one very involved with Professor Leskinen, but now she's the one that's, like, more involved with his friends.
Yeah. So how that played out, right? Mayuri calls Okabe, no, I can't come, maybe next time. Maho shows up, and Mayuri's like, where's Okabe? Like, was there, like... Of
course, like, you'd think that he would have come with her.
Even after saying no to Mayuri?
Well, I would think.
Yeah.
This is just, like, in if it really happened to me in real life, and I knew two people were together, and someone said no to me, and then time passed, and then one of the people appears, I'd be like, oh, well, they were together.
Yeah.
So maybe when the person called and said no, they didn't realize someone else was coming, and they were like, oh, okay, I guess we'll go together,
Yeah, I imagine, like, a conversation happened, like, via text of Maho being like, oh, yeah, I'm actually with Okabe. I'm down to come. I'll try to convince him.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Dude, I was not ready to see Yuki get fucking mowed down by a drone. That came out of nowhere. That was wild.
There were so many parts of that were wild. Like, there was the part where we get her face lit up more at the end when we see it the second time, and she's, like, smiling in a way that gives you that, I'm so glad that I could use my life to save yours.
Yep.
And then Suzuha firing up at the drone, like, both those parts emotionally were pretty wild to me.
Did you feel the same as me at the end of the episode of, like, there's just this, like, unspoken, I don't know, like, if I was in universe, I feel like I would be very confident in saying that Yuki somehow knew.
So I just feel like if time travel truly existed, I feel like I don't know this because I've never met a family member that I didn't know was a family member beforehand.
I'm a perfect example of that, though, and I can attest to it. Yeah, I can attest to it.
I think that you could understand that Yuki might have some sort of feeling.
Yeah, like... of
comfortability, even. Like, I've known you my whole life, but I haven't. This is weird,
that there's something deeper.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I don't know.
You refresh if
So I'm adopted. I didn't know I was adopted until I was, like, let's say, like, 10. When I was 14, my parents told me that they weren't going to tell me who my biological parents were, but I knew them. Like they were somehow like I'd met them before in my life. Instantly, I was like, oh, it's these people, right? And it was. That being said, I immediately was like, oh, that makes so much sense, and like I felt that, right? It clicked. That being said, before I was given that like
That
little nudge of they're people that you know, how would I have ever assumed, right? How would I have ever?
Yeah, I doubt you would have ever assumed that they were like your family, but there was an undeniable
closeness.
comfortability,
Yeah, there was
closeness and relatability to them and your siblings.
Yeah, I think I was probably too young though. If I was like, I don't know, what, 20s? Like, I think that my mind might have been like, how are we related? Like, you know, like this is a little wild. But that's an interesting point to bring up. I've never thought about that in the same vein as like a time travel scenario.
Yeah, I don't mean to like bring up your stuff, but I just felt like as soon as we were talking about it, I feel like I am not equipped to talk about if Yuki could have felt anything, but I felt like maybe you could understand if it was actually realistically possible that she could feel something.
I think given...
And we are not parents, so we can't talk on that either.
I think given their specific circumstance and their age, it is very... It's not like a, for sure, oh yeah, I 100% know that you're my daughter and Dara's your father. But it's like, things would have added up to a certain degree of like, when she starts crying right now, there's something that's unspoken that I don't have to understand.
And your body might even move on your own. Like, it feels like it should be hugging this person.
Yeah.
And it feels right. Like, how quickly and easily Mayuri was able, her body was able to just accept Kaguri into her.
I mean, for a while, like, so my biological siblings didn't know that I was their brother, but I knew that they were, you know, my little siblings. I can't speak for them, but knowing how they, or seeing how they interacted with other people who were like my age at the time or in different circumstances, it felt like extremely like natural, like you couldn't, it felt different, you know, and like special in that way. And they had no idea. Granted, I could have been like putting forth that energy in of itself, but it's interesting. I'm going to say that Yuki just knew.
Something. She knew something. There was some undeniable sort of feeling there that we may never know unless the character voices to us whatever that feeling was.
Yep.
Or we find out that she saw the picture.
Fucking... They doctored the photo. They
was
photoshopped
like,
it.
Ferris was like at the cafe, like doctoring the photo on her laptop, and Yuki like walked by and like peeped it on the screen, and that's how she knew.
Love it. All right, that's all I have you.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.